Today we're headed to Byfield National Park, which is found about 70 kilometres northeast of Rockhampton. It's a very scenic place, and we're here to camp for a few days, though it looks like we're going to get a bit of rain. We've booked campsite 4, now all we've got to do is find it. Campsite 4 seemed a bit unlabelled.
Well, that's definitely 5.
But after locating 3 and 5 on either side of it, we were confident enough. Time for the usual setup.
Apparently Twitter set my tweet length limit to about 4 characters.
Yeah, it's Twitter grey.
But I think it'll be more efficient if we can get the coil higher up.
When you shrink it, so just be aware. So I've got the Stray Systems rear wheel rubbish bag. This thing is almost too nice to put rubbish in, really?
And then time for some dinner.
Everyone always says, don't forget the can opener. But the funny thing is, all the cans these days are ring pull. Can you open the can opener?
That said, sometimes you do need to punch a hole in the other end. So if you do want to rely on a Swiss Army knife for a can opener, please make sure at least someone has fingernails.
Aha! I found the 4. So the ranger's shown up and said we definitely don't want to be here on Monday because the creek's going to flood. So let's get the 4-wheel driving in today before the rain comes down.
So we can go this way and through to Stockyard Point.
So the creek crossing we're worried about is that one.
Yep. And then the track to get out. So I think we'll go over to 9 Mile Beach first.
So, yeah.
And 5 Rocks Beach. John wants to do 5 Rocks Beach as well.
Yep.
But, and then you track back through here.
So then it was time to head out. First stop at Stockyard Point. Airing down a bit before crossing Big Sandy is certainly recommended. From Stockyard Point, you've got a good view of 5 Rocks. It's really not hard to see why it's named this. And also, there's a good view of 9 Mile Beach, which is where we're headed next. We stopped on 9 Mile Beach to have some lunch.
I think we run out of beach.
Yeah, but it looks on the map that there's a track that comes off just here.
There wasn't much more to be seen there, so we headed back to the campsite to call it a day. We decided to head on to the general store in Byfield to pick up a few snacks, but it turned out they were closed. So it was back to the campsite and time to get the fire going again. It rained all night, and it was still raining the following morning. We decided to check on the crossing level. It hadn't risen yet. The rain was forecast to ease off today, but bucket down tomorrow. We decided to stay for the day and then leave tomorrow morning.
So the problem is this likes to curl up here, water pools there, and then migrates through the stitching here. So hopefully this fixes that.
With all this rain falling though, I wondered if it'd taste better than the tap water in our jerry cans.
It's most likely safe, but it tastes like dirt.
Rusty ended up having to go home, but John had arrived with his new Defender, which he was eager to take off-road with us.
How cool is this?
Now 9 decimal places is pretty excessive. That's precise down to 0.1 millimeters. 6 would even have been enough to tell you which part of the sign the coordinates were for. Through Stockyard Point to Five Rocks Beach. The access track on this one is steeper and narrower, the sand is softer, and it's a bit more challenging to get to than 9 Mile.
You might want to take those aerials down a bit and get this low a bit further up.
They bend, that's fine.
Is that the new Defender?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, right. Doesn't look too bad.
Majority opinion.
GoPros.
Yeah? Hell yeah.
Glad you're enjoying it. Just going to hold up here to engage center diff lock and turn off traction control.
I might even go low range.
This is low range.
No, it's a bit weird when you just slip there. Some speed jumps.
Guys, I'm stuck.
Okay, we'll come back.
We'll come back.
All the electronics in the world can't save you if you don't air down enough on sand.
Oh, plenty?
Knock another 5 out of them.
Alright. So how about I go back down?
Go back down.
Knock another 5 out. Oh. So I'm going to go up that way instead, I think.
Hey!
But a bit of digging later and we had him free.
Alright.
What's yours at?
Oh, oncoming vehicle. We'll have to go back.
Go back.
We'll go back.
No, we just picked one of these bus trees and was confused.
Lane something? Tire pressures? 15. Because I think it was tire pressures.
Yeah, tire pressures are everything on sand.
Lunch at the Five Rocks visitor area, and then we headed back down to 9 Mile Beach.
Outside off and guilt.
And then back to camp, but this time we took the southern access track to exit from the beach.
X-ray Sierra.
Back around to the campsite, and then another run out to take a look at how the crossing's going and visit the Byfield General Store.
Alright, it's wet, I'm wet, everything's wet. This isn't as waterproof as it's meant to be. Let's go check on the creek crossing to see if we're stuck here. Oh boy. Alright, we have got to get the hell out of here. Deal with that later.
Yeah. And now watch as we finish packing up and the sun comes out.
With the crossing very close to flowing over the top, we successfully escaped from Byfield. Looking at the Bureau of Meteorology's data, the crossing would have become completely impassable several hours later at around midnight. A later version of the graph shows that if we had stayed, the crossing would have been impassable until about Wednesday lunchtime. So we had to cut the trip short, but if we didn't, it would have ended up a lot longer. That's all for this little adventure. For more, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and see you next time.